Bender.
Spit on it. It was mine.
Can I just say, I don't know if it's like a recent one, but I know there's two of them. Theo Vaughn on this podcast. Dude, the recent one I watched, I don't know if it might, if you've done a recent one, I'll have to check. If it was recently, that'd be the newest one that I watched. And dude, it's like, I think it might be like 2 to 3 hours, dude, and the guy just, he doesn't even try. He doesn't even fucking try, and I'm just like pissing my pants. Some of the stuff he says, like, he's talking about shit like it's nothing. Like, because for him this is completely normal. He's like, yeah, he's like, you know, he's like, yeah, he's like, but I don't know, he's like, he doesn't trust masturbating and shit, like, porn stuff. He's like, I don't know, man, it just makes me feel weird. It makes it harder for me to, like, be with somebody if I'm, like, doing that. And he's like, you know, he's like, plus, I think it will, like, ruin your marriage and stuff. He's like, he's like, I forget if it's his uncle or somebody. He's like, there's this guy, and he's like, yeah, he's like, he was married, and he used to be down there e-jacking down at the
he has some of the funniest.
But he's like, how? And Joe's like, oh, how? Like, so you saw him? That's how you first met him? He's like, I didn't see him. He was just there, dude. He was like, I'd come in there, sneaking for a snack, elbow crawling across the kitchen. He's like, I'd have to open up the fridge, right? But I'd have to push down the button so the light wouldn't come on. And he'd just be sat there, dude, in the glow of that screen. And he can't hear nothing, you know, when you're just in the zone. And he's like, you could have both your grandparents right here. You don't even care. He's just like, there he is, just looking for the devil. He's just like,
Theo Vaughn is like,
oh my god.
That's a cool.
He's brilliant, man. That whole thing, like Joe Rogan does that thing like most comedians do, like in interview situations where they pull material that you can see in as a comedian in the back of his brain. It's like, pull material. What have you thought of that's funny? Whereas Theo Vaughn is just fucking saying shit.
He just says saying shit. Like one of my favorite things that he did. I think it was on Hot Ones, and they did the Hot Ones. They asked him, Sean Evans did that question, like, is it true that you used to just do crank text message chains and stuff like that all the time? And he was like, yeah, man, like I used to like text these random numbers, and I used to be like, yo, Robbie did it, he came in first place, and I just would Google like Asian child with trophy and send it to these people, and like half of them would be like, good for you, and the other half would be like, who the fuck is this? And then there'd be like those two people like, stop texting me. Yeah. And I'd be like, yo, you guys don't even know, you should be supporting this kid. Like, and he's like, yeah, just send him a picture of some random Viet with a trophy. Yeah, some random Viet with a trophy.
Man, that's brilliant. I mean, that's actually someone who owned my wife's phone before her. Dude, that's just mad. There's just like mad chicks sending pictures of tits like all the time. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the thing that I don't get, dude, is so he's giving these chicks, because these chicks are like texting like, oh hey, it was nice seeing you tonight. Like, thought I'd just text you, see we can. So like he's still giving them that number.
He's probably
and
married.
I'm telling you, it ain't like that's just tits. Like, I'm just like, dude, like that didn't even.
And she's like, hey, Warlock.
Yeah, she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, hey, what
the fuck is it?
Like, at first I was like, shit, is that my phone? I was like,
another tittygram.
Am I in trouble? Am I in trouble right now? I know it came to your phone, but am I in trouble for this?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I felt responsible for it. I was like,
well, as you do when there's tits on your phone.
Yeah, and it's worse when it's on their phone. Because I'm just in that
like, did I randomly give, like, was it at one point when we were first dating or something? Did I accidentally?
Did I do it bad?
Did I do it? Did I accidentally text her a picture that I was sent before I knew her?
Yeah. No, it's not just that. It's like.
And then it comes up like, well,
why do you still have it?
Like, in that split, in that moment that lasts like less than a millisecond, my head fills with 1,000 ideas. Like, well, AT&T looked at your history and they thought it was disgusting that man would look at that stuff, and so they sent it to her directly.
Yeah.
They were just like, see what he's using your plan for? see what he's looking at? Like,
see what he's looking at?
My brain tells me that all the time. Every time my phone goes on, I'm just like, oh shit, there they go. Blowing me up. It's like,
blowing up my spot.
You've been looking at tits all day.
All day long.
This motherfucker.
Look what this guy's been doing while
God,
you're at work.
could you imagine if
Yes,
someone...
motherfucker. Like,
This is where all your lotion goes.
look at him. Look at him. Just he doesn't know what's going on. Look at him trying not to look guilty.
Look at him.
That's him purposely trying not to look guilty. He's actively trying. Like, dude, I do that too. It's hard. when you like instantly like try, like what does an innocent person do? Yeah, they don't move at all. And they definitely don't make eye contact. And they sweat really
Really
like a lot from their
like
brow.
incredibly.
Like
They don't
from
have
the brow.
hair
And
to
top
hide
of
it either.
Top of their lip. Like
It's just like the
all
top of your
Yeah.
the top of your head looks like a topography map of the watershed of
That's
the
it,
earth.
yeah. And it's just like only a guilty person will wipe it away. Just that proud. Just let it
Trickle.
Let it go straight into your open eye. Just remember, you don't blink. like, just like
Channel Mike Tyson. Just channel Mike Tyson. Just channel Mike Tyson. Yeah.
yeah.
Baxter.
Yes, there's still animal sounds. Welcome to our new set.
What's up?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, man.
One of Theo Vaughn's best stories. If you really want to listen to it, stop watching this right now because why the fuck are you? I mean, if you'd like to continue, but type in Theo Vaughn, New York City, hooker, cocaine, and Daryl Strawberry.
Wow.
Okay. He tells a story about all of those things encompassed into one, and it is possibly the most hilarious thing ever. He's trying to politely do cocaine in the front of a like he's like I was at one point just like tilting my head back and dumping it in my nose, just like as the driver is getting blown by I think a girl in the back seat of the car. He's like I could detect the shadow of an Adam's apple, but I didn't want to ruin his flow. Just like
Oh my god. Dude. Nah, yeah, he's one of my, like, I saw him ages ago on Joe Rogan's podcast, but I never really looked it up. I just thought it was a good one. But, like, after the second one, dude, I was just like, this guy's got it.
yeah, he came from like really horrible, shitty conditions, like.
But that's what makes him
Really,
so fun.
yeah,
Like,
and-
because the stories he tells are just, like, it's like, he might as well be, like, an extraterrestrial, dude, because the climate, like, like, just that part of the country, like, he's talking about, like, gators and shit, dude. That might as well be a dinosaur to me. Like, I'm fucking England, dude. We have, like, everything there has fur. You're talking about a fucking dinosaur. Like, that's what it is. Like, we didn't have any reptiles at all. So, like, it's just bizarre, man.
Speaking of crocodiles, there's a new movie coming out. It's called Crawl. Have you seen the trailers for that yet?
I did.
It's by. I'm intrigued because Sam Raimi is the director. Sam Raimi, insert Sam Raimi. He did Evil Dead, obviously. Sam Raimi. Drag Me to Hell is his. Well, not most recent. Sam Raimi did one very recently. I can't remember which one that is. But it's like he's one of the original shock directors, like shock horror, shock gore, and stuff like that, with really brutal shit. And it's basically just about this father and daughter that get caught in a hurricane in like Florida or something, and this flood comes in, and these giant alligators just like are there. It's Florida, obviously, because that'll happen. But it's like the movie's just about them trying to escape their house while it's like being infested with giant alligators. And I'm assuming there's probably going to be a ton of gator foo and a ton of people getting snapped in half and shit like that. I'm excited.
That reminds me of Sharknado.
It's not going to be campy. That's the thing, though. Like with Sharknado's a brilliant film. All 5 of them. They're horrible.
Do you know what shark movie that I did actually like? And it's not... Let me put it this way. It's not a great movie. Like, the writers, I mean, they could go fuck themselves, really. Like, they didn't really do much, so they can stop patting themselves on the back, because this isn't for you. This is just, like, as a movie, like, visually, Meg. I mean, as Jason Statham, I didn't even like that guy. I think he's terrible.
Was that good? I was
it was
so
just good,
against
man. I
seeing
just liked
it.
it. Like, it was just super easy to watch. I was just like... And then...
It had Ruby
one
Rose
thing-
in it, too.
Yeah, that was a problem too.
I
Because
love
think
her.
she's just a
I
bit
love her.
she's a bit irritating. Like, they just like put her there. She's
Suck-
like,
I'd suck her dick.
yeah, I mean, probably got like a 9-inch clit. Like,
Oh.
just like,
It's just like...
hanging out the side of her briefs. Just like a
gross.
spaghetti noodle. Just like,
Oh,
just a little string of ramen. Tastes like Vegemite. Like, yeah. But you know, you can't just go there curling it around. You have to put it on a spoon,
Yep.
spiral it up, and
Vegemite's disgusting.
yeah, they're not good. Not good. None of anything that ends in that is terrible.
Anything that
with
starts with a V and ends with an E.
Yeah.
Except vegetables. Vegetables are delicious. Make sure we're still filming.
I think that.
I'd be really upset if we weren't filming. We are.
But no, yeah. Overall, it's just a really good movie, man. Like, it just works. Like, it's not a good movie in the sense of like well written all that, but it's just like you know what I mean as a movie. Like, you just sit and you watch it, and just things happen in front of your face, and you just enjoy it. Like that type of like. It's great. You know, it has that typical monster movie thing. Like, everyone always shits on movies that, so like, because of the way it was marketed, people would instantly be like, oh, but the scale of the shark changes in like a bunch of different scenes. It's like, dude, like, have you ever watched Godzilla? Like, that
Yeah.
shit changes like every scene to
Yeah.
a different size. Like, 1 minute the helicopter is like the size of his eyeball, and then the next thing, the human is like the size of his foot. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
But you gotta look over that shit, man.
Why
It's
are
just
you
cool seeing-
TikToking right
It's
now?
just cool seeing
I
a
can.
She's
giant
a really
shark.
like a. How are you doing? I just kind of wanted to see Jason Statham fight a giant shark because he's fought everything else.
Yeah, I mean, but you
I mean,
can't.
you go.
You can't do it if he doesn't have the.
That's
I know that's not
Liam
Jason
Neeson, but that's an amazing reference. Well done. That's great. I forget what that dude's name is, but the stand-ups. You ever watch that Netflix special? A bunch of different stand-up comedians
I
just doing sets. And I forget what the dude's name is. It's like Dan something. And he's like, yeah, man, wow, I felt like fucking. He's like, I felt like Liam Neeson in The Gray. And like 3 or 4 people laugh. And he's like, thank you to those people who understand what a comedian's life actually is. I just smoke pot and watch really bad movies. But how badass was that? You know, when Liam Neeson came up to the director, he's like, I want to fight wolves.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what, like a bat or a crowbar? He's like, no, tiny liquor bottles. Because he straps those little, like, shot liquor bottles to his fists, and he fights the wolves in the end of the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
first of all, we'll insert a picture of what an actual wolf looks like right here. In scale to a human. Over here, maybe? You're not winning that fight. Unless you have something very large and loud. And
Tiny liquor bottles.
but it's Liam Neeson, so, you know.
But do you know? I remember from watching Wild Boys back. It was on Hulu when I first had that. I don't have it anymore, but like I rewatched all of Wild Boys, and they ran into a bunch of wild wolves in the woods, and the dude who always has the shark necklace and shit.
Oh yeah, Manny.
He was explaining to them, and he was like, all that shit that you hear about wolves is bullshit. He said, they won't just jump on you and maul you. No, like, they're just gonna do this, and they're super fucking in your face. They're not, like, hyper-violent, but they'll just nip at you. And he said, and they'll follow you for days until you're fucking dehydrated. Like, they'll just follow you wherever you're going until you fucking can't go, and I'm like, okay, now's the time.
I'm gonna
Like,
kill
and then
you
they'll
now.
just start going at it. Like, they'll just all, you know, because there's so many of them, there's like a nip here or there. Like, and not like, just like your dog would do, you know, just like little nip on the back of the leg. Like, they'll go for parts. Like, that's how you know that they're like fucking with you. Because, like, they're going for like the back of your arms or like the back of your knees and shit. Like, shit that's gonna eventually slow you down. And so that's how they get you, man. Like, they just literally wear you out for days. It's just like, fuck that.
It's so brutal.
Because at first you'd be like, I'm friends with a pack of wolves.
Like, no, you're
They're
not.
coming everywhere with me. And
You're
then
like,
it's just
yeah,
like,
we're like your new pets, huh?
wake up in the morning and they're just eating your toes.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god.
Oh, it's like that like the Grizzly Man documentary.
Oh,
Oh, good God.
Dude, I
That's
still,
literally the worst audio I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Dude, that one moment of being completely like disgusted and just like horrified hearing him die. I don't think anyone give enough credit for like those shots of him at the beginning of the movie, and then it pans out and there's just a bear, like
Yeah.
bear,
Like-
a wild brown bear,
Like
right?
from
And he's
from
just
me
a
to the
bear.
camera.
He's so out there, man. He's so like campy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Like, get out of
he's
here.
like, get out.
You get out of
He's
here.
like,
You
no.
get-
And the
He
bear's
had-
like, fuck, okay, dude.
Fuck, Jesus.
He's like,
And he did. I will
This
give it
motherfucker's
to him.
crazy.
I will
like,
give it to him.
bitch. Like,
He did have some kind of connection.
He did.
to
Like, he
these
wasn't. I
animals.
don't think he was talking shit. I think he was right. He figured something
Yes,
out.
he absolutely did. Because
Yes.
literally, you're not talking like I mean, any bear will kill you. Any bear, doesn't matter. But these aren't like the black bear or brown bear that we're used to. These are like Kodiak country, 9 foot, 1,100 pound. Like
Yeah.
one swipe, take your head off, grizzly bears. And he's like here, like right, like there, like the wall there,
Like-
away from him. Just get out. No, just stop it. Just
Yeah.
go. Hey, get out of here.
Yeah, every now
And then one night, one of them was just like, "Fuck this," and
Yeah.
killed him and his girlfriend. All they found was his head and his rib cage. They didn't find any of her. No, because
it was brutal. Yeah.
what
like,
bear doesn't like pussy? Anyway.
Yeah.
You put a cake in front of a bear, he's gonna eat it.
Yeah.
So,
That movie. But yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's,
it. Whatever.
It was crazy, man. Like, but yeah, like you see them go where they're like catching the salmon and shit. That's like
Yeah.
where they're most violent. Like bears will fight other bears
Mhm.
around. Dude, he's like stood there and one of the bears gets like real fucking like stands up and like starts
Yeah.
coming towards me. He's like, no, hey, no, get out of here, get out. And the bear like gets super close to me and it's like, okay, fuck, dude.
Jesus, what the fuck, man?
He's like, so cool, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna do our
Oh,
secret
man.
handshake. Fuck you
Yeah,
guys.
it's
This
just
is
like-
divulging into a Joe Rogan
Yeah,
podcast.
no, it's just so.
Yo, bears, man.
And
Look at
then-
that fucking thing.
Have
So
you
let me
ever
tell
like
you-
looked at a bear?
He's like, that's crazy.
That's
You ever
cool.
done
You should do DMT about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you, Joe. We
Man.
should do more DMT. He
Dude,
needs to
did
do
you-
it live.
Did you see
That's
him?
what needs to happen.
Did you see him on the? You know that dude who does AdWords everything?
Yeah.
He had him on there, dude, and they started to talk about like, I guess one of the big ones that's like been reposted on everyone's channel, especially like these ones that like to be super right wing and like shut down left wing shit. Those channels just love to eat it up and they're just like posting it everywhere because like it was because Adam was saying on their show they debunked that there was this thing of like alpha males and beta males that like they don't exist.
Mhm.
And Joe Rogan was like, but they kind of do though. Like he kind of like you can see. I understand both sides of it. Like they're both talking about kind of different things,
Yeah.
but calling them the same thing. Like
Mhm.
I think what Adam's trying to say is that like in our world, like how our culture works, like what used to be an alpha male is still like attractive to women, like on a genetic level. If we believe in that, like you know, like an athletic guy who's like you know just got good genes, like that's always gonna be a thing. But if you're an athletic motherfucker who's good looking with no money and no skills to work in this like modern world, like you're not the alpha male in the computer
Yeah.
realm, right? Like
Nope.
you put him in an
Absolutely. Speaking of beta males, or no, alpha males, I should say. Not sorry, no disrespect. Jesus Christ, you can kick my ass. Make sure you bookmark that clip so I can use some of it.
I like black tea, I never touch Tina, and that's the tea, I know I'm
It's actually really pretty.
Getting crunk, acting stupid, getting drunk. I got 100 problems, drinking ain't one. I try to quit drinking, but it's too much fun. I keep it cute, and I act my age. And you're never ever gonna see me drunk on stage. It's a new dawn, it's a new age. Metallica, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page.
You're not like...
Seeds of rage, smash the pumpkins, rat in a cage. Let's be women and equal wage.
Like...
No, seriously. Fuck.
Wait, I think this is the part.
Now let's talk about my exes. I cheated on Sharon with a guy in Texas. I'm just kidding, he was really in Florida. What the fuck fucking rocks on Florida? We were good together, but we're better apart. And I learned a lot from that broken heart. Sharon and Chad, I'm happy for you. So roll the cat, I fucking miss you, boo. Not every...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Alaska, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, hit me
Please,
up.
dear God.
Fuck. Holy hell, that'd be insane. That's something we should do. Now that we have a new set for the time being, we should have some guests on the podcast. So we can talk to important people in front of no one.
Yeah. I don't know anybody important.
I don't know.
We have Eric.
Well, I want to do a small business interview podcast.
I want to go get another
I
piercing.
want to do more
from him
interviews
soon.
and stuff like that too, of interesting people.
I want to get another piercing from him soon.
Because I think like those,
Damn it.
I know, I need to get tattoos. Anyway.
I have a tattoo I just found today that I want, and I saved it to my phone, so I need to get moving on that.
We need to figure out, because I feel like if we don't ask for money, we could get just about anybody.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just come talk to us, and
Let me get fucking Jeffree Star.
then you can go home. Like,
Yeah.
that too.
Let me get Jeffree Star coming out with us.
Well, that's why we should go after ludicrously rich people,
Love him.
because they won't care. I feel. Maybe I'd just be a different rich person, but if I had fuck you types of money, like hundreds of millions of dollars, and someone wanted me to go somewhere, I'd just go. Because you could like, okay,
Oh,
bye.
really cool. I need a break anyway. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a cool idea. One I'm bouncing around my head just as you were saying that was my old boss from the movie theater. Like, he has worked like in the movie theater for like ever, right?
Right.
Now he's like, he's not like manager on there, like he's manager of like multiple things. But it'd be like interesting to talk to him because like he would talk to me sometimes about stuff. And I just kind of like pretend I knew what he was talking about, but I'd love for him to like kind of explain. Like he was talking about like so a new movie would come out. And I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, like saw the trailer, and he'd be like ratios and like frames per second, and how like he was talking about when The Hobbit came out. He was like, oh, he was like people hated it because people aren't used to like 60 frames per second. He was like, it's crazy. It's like it's shot in like this like aspect ratio that like hadn't been done before, shit like that. And he was just like,
Do you
on this different
remember?
thing, just, damn, what the fuck is this? I don't know what to say. So I was just like, yeah, I agree. I was like, I totally understand
You're right.
what you're on about.
Do you remember when like full, like not even like 10, like when TV resolutions went, like we went from the box TVs to flat screens.
Yeah.
People lost their fucking minds.
But do you remember, do either one of you remember when like even like 30 FPS, because it was the original television format is like 23.7 blah 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 frames per second. In 1080 you can shoot 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, and stuff like that. And when you shoot those high frame rates, every little detail comes out. So instead of like my hands being blurry and everything, if this was shot like full 1080 at 60 frames per second, you could literally see all of my fingers moving. It would look really strange and almost otherworldly. But I remember when the first big 1080p TVs came out, things did not look correct.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever, like, anyway, like, the Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny comes into my head.
Yeah.
because that was like one of the first movies I ever saw in like the full high def 1080, and it was like, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like the background was just painted there,
Yeah.
and it felt like they were just like standing in, they were like inside the television, because
Yeah.
they looked too real.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
I know that's one of the things with like how crazy they're getting now. Like 4K, they do like 4K sports now.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, man, it's like, it's sure if you got like a super reliable connection and the weather is like willing, like sure you're gonna have a great experience. But you could watch a football game in the middle of a fucking thunderstorm on a regular old box TV, and it would just flow.
Yep.
Whereas like if you're watching in super high resolution and the connection fucks up for a second or something like that, and then it skips and shit, it makes it unbearable to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
that's the biggest problem with
it's like
all that shit.
it's more fragile. Like it's a better experience, but like it's just way more.
But it's way easier to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it
like
doesn't take much. Like, and then you're complaining that like, so if you're watching in like, even if you're watching like 1080 and then it drops to like 360.
Yeah, it's
Then you're bitching about it, and you're just like, dude, I can't even watch this. But the fact is like, you would have been watching it.
Yeah, you would have totally
you know
been
what I
watching it at
But
like
it's
480.
when you go that far and then you drop back, you can't do it in the same like
I
experience.
feel like that's why I'm such a resolution Nazi. Like when
Yeah.
I'm watching something on YouTube, especially because of their new resolution format, you can view things in 4K. You can I remember 6 years ago. That it is 6 or 7 years ago. It's probably 6 years ago. The
You have
only
me for the rest of
content.
this podcast, and then I'm gonna let you guys think about it.
Okay. You could only obtain content that was 4K by downloading it.
Yeah.
Like you had to download the file, and it was like 80 gigs worth of the file. Now you can just stream it across the internet, and it's like, but
I do
it's
see
turned
the-
me into this like
I do
resolution Nazi.
I see the
Yeah,
value.
It's gotta be the best.
I see the value in downloading or owning physical copies though of anything in that high resolution because it's reliable.
Yes.
And streaming, it seems to be super reliable until you absolutely need it. So for instance, like, that's why when I do like pay-per-views and shit, dude, I'll never get the fucking HD one.
Yeah.
Because it'll just it'll piss me
Inevitably,
off.
it will just fuck up.
piss me off.
Yeah.
And then I've spent more money, and then it's gonna be like choppy or something could happen. Where
Did
it
I
just
miss
fucking
that
goes
fight, by the
nuts.
way?
Which one?
The chicks.
No, yeah, it's
May 12th, I think.
Yeah, it's been like a bunch of free fights, and
I
it's been
need to
great.
see that.
Yeah, man, that Amanda Nunes.
These chicks are brutal.
Not Amanda Nunes, fucking Paige. No, what's the fuck's her name?
I forget.
The chicks are just always brutal.
I forget her fucking name.
I
Man.
feel like
can't
they're way
believe I'm
more
doing
like-
this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Paige? It's something Menaga Nunes or something. I can't pronounce the name. But yeah, she's crazy.
This is the girl that shaved her head, right?
Yeah, she's crazy.
She's
That's
You were
dumb.
saying about didn't one of
On
them
a
beat that
different
guy's
planet.
ass or whatever?
I don't know. If
that
it
was Amanda Nunes. That was.
I don't know if it was one of them. It was just like a story that came out. I think was it Brazil? I want to say Brazil. It's probably wrong, but yeah, it was. I didn't even think it was like a famous one. She was like on an undercard, and she just fucking destroyed this guy, man. And he was just sat there like a little kid. He was just waiting for the police. He was like, yeah, just take me. He's like,
Yeah, I fucked up. I need to go to the hospital.
No, I need a hospital anyway. Just so they
I
have
just
come
love
get
to
me.
see, like, but that's the problem, right, with how good you are at defending yourself. Because I bet his charges were super minimal. Because with somebody like that, I bet all he got to do was, like, grab her arm.
Yeah.
You know what I
she
mean?
just-
He may have had intent to go way further than that with a regular person, but at that point, she was just like, he got his ass kicked.
She's
Where
like,
with-
oh, this is what you're trying to do? No, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a more regular person, he might have grabbed her and then smacked her, and then for her to react and become violent, right?
Mhm.
Because at first she might have been like, "What's happening? What are you doing?" And then it would have been like, "Scratch the fucking eyes out," right? And stuff
Dude,
like
yeah.
that. Like, I don't know. So
Remember those self-defense classes and all that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
why I think girls should.
That's why I took ninjutsu for 3 years.
And it's the same reason that I'm glad you did, and also that I feel that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should be taught as like in those female self-defense courses.
Yeah.
Fuck kicking the guy in the nuts.
No, yeah,
Put him in a
doesn't-
fucking triangle.
Yeah, no. Well,
Like put him in an armbar. Dislocate his elbow. Do something
I
fucking
think-
shitty to that guy.
I think that the reason that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should be like the fundamental women's self-defense thing
They
is
teach you this.
because the actual form of it is in the worst position you could be in. So this is only used if the guy gets you and he's mounted you. He's like on top of you, your legs are spread and he's in between you. That's your bread and butter. Now he's fucked. He doesn't know. He thinks usually
They
that's
taught us
when
this
the
thing
guy would be like done, right?
About, like, here. Like, 'cause he's gonna be like this. He's gonna leave his
Oh,
arms
the
open.
inside the bicep.
Yeah, like, there was a girl that did that the one time and actually ripped muscle fibers out of this guy's arm. And she pinched so hard and he tried to get away and just ripped, like, shit out of his own arm.
Yep.
It was
Grab right there and just
You wanna try
hang on
again?
for deir life.
my favorite one, though, is, like, if someone tries to grab at me, I know how to, like, hold their arm and, like, break it
Yeah.
backwards. Just, like,
That's the
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is with that being their game, like that's when the game begins for them.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, if the guy has done it before or whatever, or even if he hasn't, like his idea is that once your legs are fucking spread, he's inside your legs, and you're not kicking him away anymore. He's like, I'm done. So his brain is already like retracted from the violence. He's just thinking, dude, and then as somebody who's trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're just like, I'm gonna break your arm now.
Yep.
Like you're about to get flipped over, and I'm gonna break your fucking. You can tap if you want. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna
ain't
break
gonna
your
yeah,
happen.
because I think the
Like-
reason that, like, they get so like that is, like, we're so much smaller than men to begin with. And, like, it's funny
Brazilian-
because in, like, the ninjutsu I did taught you, like, how to use their own, like, body weight against them.
Mhm.
So it's like, it doesn't matter how much bigger you are than me. Like,
Yeah.
you fall heavier. So
Actually, the
From-
bigger the bigger the opponent, the more damage you could do to them in that. Because the ninjutsu stuff is different than the jujitsu stuff. Because ninjutsu has striking in it,
that's what I do.
as a base, where jujitsu is more the grappling side of things. And when you
Yeah.
throw striking in there too, it's just fuck. Imagine just getting your arm broken and also your head bashed in. Like, no.
Yeah, no, but that's why like that Eddie Bravo with. I was watching something with him talking about his 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu school that he set up.
Didn't
And-
Joe Rogan just black belt in 10th Planet?
He
too?
did, yeah. And then like what's
Chop,
really
chop.
interesting about that is like originally when he like set up his thing, so he's like super into jiu-jitsu, he's training like with a gi on and stuff like that, like traditional shit. And then he comes up with his own like ideas and shit where he's like I think one of the famous parts of it, or like one of the stories that's told, is like basically where he was saying like, dude, he's like super flexible with his legs. He's like, why are we ignoring 50% of our body? Like we're all doing this, all the guys know we're doing that. If you come up against another guy, he's like, we could do a bunch of shit with our legs. And that's why I think that's like great for like, it's great for everybody, but I think women just have a more natural flexibility and strength in their lower body.
Oh yeah.
And so like that form of jiu-jitsu where it utilizes maybe like I think just across the board as a generalization, I think like traditional jiu-jitsu where it is more like upper body and like grabbing wrist controls and fucking like manhandling people in that sense is more like we'd probably be better at that. It'd probably take us longer to learn the leg stuff. But like I think like for women it's just like, dude, like, why not? Like how much like think like your leg muscle is like so much bigger than someone's arm. Like you're just gonna fuck it. There's
Yeah.
no
There was like
context.
I learned I
Definitely
didn't
fighting
even
a horse.
yeah I didn't even know that I could do this, but like the guy that taught the classes was like a big dude, like hefty or whatever, and I actually like learned how to pick him up
Yeah.
like on like my butt almost, like you put your butt under theirs, and like I was just standing, he's like flat this way and I'm just holding like the front of his shirt and then just dropped it flat on his back, and I was just like Cool.
You can
I can do that now.
You can take someone my size or bigger and put them flat on their ass.
That's one thing that like everyone shit all over Ronda Rousey when she finally got lost. But the reason she lost is because they convinced her that she was like a great striker, which she isn't. But like her shit is still legit. Like people think like, oh no, it was all fake, and then she got beat. Like no, like judo like is what Ronda Rousey did, man, and that shit. Like I knew two of my friends. Like James did judo, and he was just naturally a bigger guy. But one of my friends who I used to play football with, he's a much smaller kid, and that whole bullshit you see in movies with cry and shit, like using your opponent's weight against all this shit, man, like all that shit you see, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. And they always use that small, tiny dude and a giant guy. But dude, I'm telling you, those judo throws, and this kid had been doing it from like so young, where like he would just like
destroy you.
Yeah, you just see him throwing people around, man. It's like judo is so effective for that, because especially for self-defense, I think, because it always ends up in a grapple. And if you can just get the guy on the ground, break that grip, then you can leave, right? Like as far as self-defense goes, then you can leave.
Plus, I think it stuns them enough that they just kind of like.
Yeah, nobody wants to drag their ass up off the concrete
and try again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, it's
especially if you did it in the way, like if you're well practiced in even Aikido, they even say and I don't put that moniker on it because I don't think that, but they call it a gentle martial art. Aikido is basically just you come at me and then all of a sudden you're down here and I haven't really touched you. You can kind of learn and be as proficient at jiu-jitsu as someone could be in Aikido, and all of a sudden like someone comes to you and you've got them in an arm triangle and nothing, you've done literally nothing. And it demoralizes that person so fucking much that they just go away.
I do think, like,
or get their arm broken. One of the two.
One thing I think though is like
choice.
with a lot of martial arts, I think all of them have really good value. Like they have great ideas, even down to like the more like mystical ones like Wing Chun, which almost everybody is saying is a complete bullshit.
No way.
Anderson Silva uses that shit when his back's against the cage, man. Like, you can say what you want, but like, oh, he's just playing or whatever. But dude, it worked. Like when Anderson Silva's against the cage, he's usually pretty damn safe because that's where he's like most dangerous, right? He's gonna explode on you. And I don't know. I think the problem is that a lot of them get picked up and mystified by like these people who I don't think the styles matter. I think obviously they matter, but like it's always gonna come down to, unfortunately, like it's the law of the jungle, right? It's always gonna come down to physical traits. You know, different tactics that will play a huge part, right? Because that's just like war or whatever you're gonna play on a bigger scale. So like tactics do make a difference, but I think that physical advantage is you can't ignore it.
Right.
So like you were saying, like, so if you've got a big guy who's a fucking brawler, and then you're a fucking smaller guy who's like a judo guy, that's probably gonna work for you as long as you don't get punched in the face.
Yeah.
But that'll probably still work. It's a good matchup, right? You've got just as good a chance as he has thrown to the ground. But if you have like a fucking Muay Thai guy versus a kickboxing guy, but one of them is fucking, you know, fucking like a super athlete and has like cardio for days and shit, like no, like dude, like that's not
gonna happen.
Like you could be way better at your martial art than he is at his, but the guy's just got you, man. Like, because when his martial art fails him, he can still just grab hold of you and control you. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, it does play a huge factor.
I think it does. Like, and I get it. Like the argument is, oh, but there's techniques for this thing. It's like, I don't know. Like when shit gets real like that. You're not thinking of all this shit. You know, you're just reacting. And so if somebody's just got like, has like drilled more or has done more like athletic shit in their life, but it's just like more, like just more athletic in general, they're like just more physical than you. You know, like so they can just pull that shit off without thinking about it. Whereas if you're too inside your own head, man, it's just like, it's not gonna work. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well. That was amazing. So, this is the third venue for this podcast. So I guess this might be season 3 of the podcasts. which is pretty cool actually. That we've been doing it for that long. So yeah, make sure you mash that subscribe button. I've still got podcasts to release from the old apartment and everything. Yeah, but deuces. Awesome.
Get your shit and get out. Welcome to Walmart. Bye.
Oh, bro, talking to Walmart. That was boss.
I'm taking Tylenol. I'm going to bed.